lovely to be down in this space. I've been coming to Creative Mornings quite a while, and I've been always sitting in the seats, and so it's an honor to be speaking, and especially on this topic of growth, I'm very excited. So as we go into today's talk, we're going to be talking about how our environments shape health and well-being. Now, health and well-being and built environments, I'll get a little bit into it. We spend the majority of our lives in built environments. So when you think about where you live, where you work, where you spend your time, this could be in a park, it's on a street, it's in a building, and in your home. And within all of these spaces, it has been created by people. Or nurtured and nuanced and given a little bit of life by people, from planning and urban planning down to architecture, interior design, and the policies and systems in place that support it. So how do we explore these things in our everyday, and what might they do to your feelings and functions, how you feel and how you function? So if you could pull out your phone for a moment, we're going to swap over to a Mentimeter activity really quickly. So right here, we've got, just take a little picture, a mental picture of the distribution. The winter lights have a huge impact on a lot of people. Huge is relative, of course. But winter lights, they make people happy. Then you've got crosswalks. Okay, well, not as big of a, it's medium. Some people might really appreciate a crosswalk. I know I was in Göteborg the other week, and I was really missing the crosswalks. Yeah, in Göteborg there aren't really crosswalks, and you just have to figure out, where do I walk across the street? So I really appreciate them for my sense of safety. And then also a park bench. Yeah, how you feel, maybe where you can take a rest, maybe connect with someone. Oh, that's not nice. Where did it go? Okay, so then if we move on to the next one, when you encounter things like this, let's say a buffet and there's salad first. A unique staircase. Actually in Udenplan there were some steps and you could hop up the steps and they had musical keys in it. It was a piano. And, not Udenplan, sorry, another place, Östermalm I think. And then also a mute box, like an isolation space. Staircases, that's fun. Okay, 5-10 more seconds, shouldn't need too long. Okay, so real quick, salad buffet, mixed spread, staircase, that's a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoy going on the stairs and take the stairs a little bit more. And a mute box. Okay, then the last one. So when you encounter these things, indoor plants. Trickle vents. If you don't know what a trickle vent is, it's something that's right above a window or a door. It allows ventilation to come into your apartment. For me, I can't currently control my heating, so it's nice to be able to let a little bit of fresh air in and have the trickle vents open every so often. And a radiator. Okay. Very cool. Thank you for doing this little activity. So what I hope that it shows is that we all have a different experience of elements of our environment, our built environment. We all perceive them differently, think about their function, and the feeling that they give us a little bit differently. So when we go back to the other, when I move this over, let's see. There. Okay, then we can think about our environments. They shape us through sensory signals. They're influencing how we feel. There are environmental conditions. They affect how we function. Behavioral opportunities, system design, and governance. So these are the different aspects of an environment. And as we design a space, the space that you're in right now, there are all these different cues coming at you. Sensories, environmental conditions like the lighting or the air. You've got, behavioral opportunities like Do you choose to go sit up high and to engage with somebody? There's a little desk or a table. Are you going to talk to the person next to you at the table? Maybe a little later. They're nudging you. So when we connect design and well-being, we're able to get this broader perspective. We're able to go at a system level and think about the way that we interact with ourselves, with our society, with our buildings, with our world. And we can really make a change and ripple not only our health, but other people's health and well-being, because our actions, when we feel good and we show up and we are, in a good state of well-being, then we're able to hopefully get that back in return as well. So today I'm going to walk you through 3 different scales, and we're going to then get into just a wider lens again and point you in a direction for some additional learning if you find that this is interesting. Some definitions. First and foremost, health is a complete state of physical, mental, and social well-being. So it's not just disease. It is so much more than that. And when we get to well-being, we have 8, there are a number of different, there can be 8 dimensions, there can be 10 dimensions. Here I'm doing 8. So when you have different dimensions of well-being, think about your physical well-being. What about your social well-being? How do you engage with other people? What impacts your mental health, your emotional well-being? But then there's other things. Financial and spiritual and intellectual and all of these elements that make us a person, because we are so much more than just our body showing up in the world and walking or rolling to an activity. So then when we go to first scale, neighborhood environments, think big. We are in neighborhoods and we are thinking and moving, pausing and connecting. So as you go into a, let's see, even walking here, St. Eriksplan has a little park. So in that little park, would you maybe ever stop and sit and take a rest? And what is the furniture that's a part of that space? So a bench, for example, is a piece of social infrastructure. In Umeå, there is actually this park, and they have created a space for teenage girls to hang out. And so you have it was a participatory design method where the designers gathered with students from the area in Umeå and wanted to be able to understand where could teenage girls hang out. We all use space differently, and teenage girls are often left out. When you think about a football pitch or a park, boys take up a lot more space than girls do. So they wanted to create something that girls would want to go to, and they could talk, they could engage. They are in this space actually able to have their phones plugged in, and there are speakers. There's interesting lighting. There are these circular seats to be able to engage. But what's great is that it's not only a space for teenage girls, it's a space for anyone. Anyone can come and they can sit and they can be in these, have a view of the water in Umeå. They can engage with their friends, get out of the house. There's benefits to definitely stress, maybe less stress. Maybe you get to have a place outside of your home. Maybe you don't have the ability to go pay to sit and enjoy company with friends in a restaurant. So in all of these ways, that could then trickle down to affect your financial well-being, your social well-being, spiritual well-being maybe, if it gives you a great space to connect with whatever spiritual presence that you would like to connect with. So then in a work environment, we think about collaboration and focus. It's a little bit different than the neighborhood. Neighborhood, you might rest, you might want to connect with other people. In a work environment, you want to do that, but it's a different purpose. So here, there is not an image there. Well, it was there. So if we have, say, different zones, when you think, it was an image of our lovely United Spaces. So when you think about this space, it is a co-working space. There are different zones, and different types of areas to support what you might be needing in that moment. Do you need a quiet space? Do you need a space of stimulation, such as a cafe area right out here with a little bit of noise, or a nice, quiet, solitary pod? All of those things are influencing and affecting your ability of autonomy, your choice of, say, thermal comfort or auditory comfort. If you think about the connection of auditory comfort to headaches, potentially, you then have a physical symptom happening from one of these other elements. Lost the word. But then there's one image. So you can choose. Do you want to sit in a table, on a couch? And we need variation throughout our day. Our bodies are inherently made to be moving. They want to change scenery, change things up. So gone are the days, so to speak, of the specific cubicle where you might go and you sit in one space. It is very nice to be able to have choice, but how do you ensure everybody can have also what they want and what they need? That's where we'll get into. That's where you get into a bit more inclusive design, and we can't talk about everything today. It's a huge topic, but yeah, thinking about choice. And maybe you get overheated by the sun and you don't want to sit by the windows, or maybe you love the sun and want to sit by the windows. So then if you're in your home environment, there's also not the image there, but it was a lovely picture of a house and a nice, comfy, cozy reading nook. I think it's just having an issue loading, but well, darn. Let's see real quick. Ah, there. Okay. Well, let's 1 second, because these ones are quite nice. Nope. Well, okay, so we'll skip to this. Basically, you know houseplants. Houseplants, a lot of people have plants. It's this common connection to well-being. Biophilic design is actually a whole topic in and of itself. There are 10 different aspects. You can have fractal patterns, you can have colors, you can have so many different elements to the physical scientific connection that we have to nature. Humans come from nature. Nature is automatically calming. Now, of course, some people like the really specific modern. They don't want a lot of variation, but elements such as wood, concrete, or stone, these different elements that are natural do have an immediate calming effect on the body. Cortisol levels go down. If you think about one time I did an experiment with desks, and if you had a brown desk, a wooden desk, versus, say, a white sterile desk, how might your productivity be a little bit different, your sense of calm? So in a home, you can do more than just having plants. If you aren't, say, a green thumb person, I love putting on videos on my television. So I can just pull up on YouTube this one. It's an actually recorded video of wood and fire and snow, and it's really nice. So that when there's darkness outside and you can't see the sunshine, how might you be able to bring that in? Visual cues can really influence and impact your well-being and your health. So it would, lower your cortisol and maybe then help with sleep. Lately, I've been pulling up this one, a Norwegian fjord, thinking through how can I have a bit of sun? And it gets me that energy. I feel better, I function better, I'm able to actually get into the work zone. So when we move beyond these 3 basic kind of skills, we're brought back to the sensory signals, the environmental conditions, behavioral opportunities, and system design. So my particular interest in this space is definitely inclusive and accessible design. How can we make a space that feels welcoming, that encourages people to interact, that makes you feel valued and appreciated in the space? So everything from what does somebody experience when they walk in the door, of where is the table placed, as opposed to Maybe there are chairs in the way, or is there a picture that you can read or relate to? So those are very simple examples, but basically we all have a little circle of influence. So when you decide when somebody comes in this door, am I going to be open and welcoming? Then it could really influence the other person on the other side of this. Nope, that was the wrong direction. So we're talking about physical space, but like with physical space, how can physical space nudge people? And in your home, say for example, in your home you turn on a television and it's got this lovely view of the Norwegian fjords. It impacts your morning, maybe impacts your ability to feel secure in your working day, to start the working day, to feel like you got everything done is then the next effect. Then how do you sleep? How do you show up to your family? How do you then show up to work and show up in your community? So all of these little things, if you're able to make a small change to say add a moment of visual stimulation or a visual cue, or a behavioral cue, like maybe you'll choose to take the stairs because they're pretty, because they're fun, then you're having these circles of influence, and it takes a long time to see, but there are scientific studies and trickle into the different circles of influence and effects. So if you're interested in learning more, I have some different words here, just things for the depth and breadth of this field is large. As you saw, health and well-being have many different dimensions, so within that spaces also do too. The built environment is huge. And things like indoor air quality is a big one. Maybe if there are a lot of people in a room, CO2, carbon dioxide increases, you get sleepy. Maybe then that's why you need to open a window to refresh the ventilation. And then there are ways to measure productivity and to talk about satisfaction and all of those different things. Same with even what comes off of what are the materials and what are they off-gassing. All of those things impact and influence people. So yeah, I'd recommend checking out some of them if you're interested. I'm Catey, and I work within this space of how do we increase awareness for the influence that the built environment has on us. And this was my first time giving a big talk, so thanks for bearing with me.